This is John Cola with OKRaw.com. I have another exciting episode for you today. We're on a field trip and we're here in Las Vegas, Nevada at Pure Health, and this is a health food store. Now, one of the interesting things about Pure Health is that it's actually owned by people who eat raw foods. They've been into raw foods for about 10 years. They've owned the store for about 5 years. So it's a really unique combination. Most health food stores probably won't let me in the door with my camera and film in there because they know I'm gonna talk stuff against all the products, but actually I'm literally welcomed in here to talk stuff about the products because the owners have this probably many of the same opinions that I do on many of the supplements in there. One of the components that they do here is actually they do education, and they want to teach their customers how to be healthy, including things like raw foods and juicing, because in my opinion that's definitely the answer to health, because health doesn't come in a bottle. Anyways, what I'm going to do today is we're going to go inside the store and I'm going to go ahead and give a tour to you guys and share with some of the maybe good supplements and the bad supplements, some of the things you may need and some of the things you may not need as somebody into raw foods. Pure Health is centrally located here in Las Vegas at Washington and Buffalo, and their hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're closed Sunday. The specific address is 7575 West Washington, suite number 129. So before I go into the store, I need to give a disclaimer here. Anything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. If you have a medical condition, please see a bona fide medical practitioner that can help you with your condition. And what I'm going to share with you guys today is my opinions about stuff inside the store. So in any case, let's head inside the store and check some of these supplements out. Now we're inside Pure Health, and this may look like a standard supplement shop to you, because there's all kinds of products on all the shelves in bottles. But you'd be mostly right, but a little bit wrong, because a lot of the products they feature here are actually whole food supplements. And what's a whole food supplement? Well, a whole food supplement is derived from foods found in nature instead of, chemicals found in a factory. So the first point that I want to share with you guys is that it's always best to get your nutrition from the foods themselves and not visit a supplement store. I mean, think about it. Why is it called supplement? Because it's supposed to supplement your diet. If you eat a fast food diet and you're not getting good nutrition, you may have to supplement with real nutrition. But it should be in bottles. It should be fresh fruits and fresh vegetables grown in mineral-rich soil so that you can have the highest quality and highest levels of minerals and antioxidants, phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals. And more importantly, the phytochemicals and phytonutrients that are now being discovered and researched in all these amazing plants. So first off, I want to just tell you guys that I think that, most supplements in the store are hogwash. That being said, if you do have a medical condition, you should see a doctor. But if I had a medical condition and, the doctor said, "Oh, John, you need to take this drug," I'd much rather come to a supplement store like this and take an herb than take a drug to try to, mitigate a situation that I had personally. What you want to do in your personal life is up to you, but that's definitely what I would do first. So I like to always teach the principle of, good, better, best. You always want to try to do the best you can, and in my opinion, the best is eating fresh fruits and vegetables, and maybe just down from that is taking a whole food supplement, and maybe down from that, maybe taking some kind of synthetic supplement so that you are not deficient in certain vitamins and minerals that you may not be getting from your diet. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I'm going to go around the store and actually talk about a whole bunch of different nutrients that may or may not be in a raw plant-based diet. So let's come around the store and I'll share with you guys some of the different nutrients and some of the cool products, and maybe some that are not so cool as well. The first area I want to look at actually is this section right here, and this is known as the raw food section. So the raw food section has a lot of different raw products, and I think this is absolutely the future of health foods. No longer should we have things in supplements, but we should have real foods that are, in this case, dried. So I think it's sad that also many raw food sections are basically packaged products, because to me, raw foods is just fresh produce. Next best after fresh produce is raw food products, and hopefully products that are, minimally processed. So some of the products I like here are like these guys right here, Himalayan golden raisins. And these are organic. Also things like raw Incan berries. So these are as found in nature, except one main component: the water content, silly. These foods, either grapes or Incan berries or Cape gooseberries, found in nature, are fresh fruits on the plant, so it's far better always to eat the fresh stuff instead of the dried stuff. Although traveling with the dried stuff, if it keeps you from eating heavily cooked stuff and heavily processed stuff, it's definitely far better. That being said, I'd always encourage you guys to pre-soak dried foods whenever eating it, because a big challenge with many people is actually dehydration. And if you're eating foods that don't have at least your level of moisture, and our level of moisture is 70 to 75% water percentage, then it's going to dehydrate you. And dehydration is definitely a big issue and can cause many problems. In addition, in this raw food section, they have things like cacao powder that I'm not a fan of, so you want to check my video on that if you haven't seen it already. But what they do have, and this is actually hard to find in Las Vegas, is the organic carob powder. And this is the raw carob powder, so I like this guy a lot. Use this guy liberally. It's high in fiber and doesn't have the negative effects that the cacao powder does. In addition, they got things like raw apricot kernels. These have been said to be high in B17 or laetrile. Definitely a really important nutrient to have. And they also have a selection of nuts, raw macadamia nuts. I love macadamia nuts. They have chia seeds, hemp seeds, pine nuts, mesquite powder, another hard one to find sometimes, as well as some olives. So I'm glad they have a raw food section featuring a lot of foods instead of just the supplements that they also offer. Let's jump right in and let's talk about B12 first, because B12 is a controversial subject for people that are plant-based eaters or non-plant-based eaters. You know, people say, oh, you know, if you're a plant-based eater, then you're going to be deficient in B12. But I think personally that, you know, everybody may be deficient in B12, and the best way to know for sure is to get checked. So don't just do a B12 test, you know, from your doctor. You want to do the functional indicators of B12, which is the homocysteine and the methylmalonic acid test. So that's much more important. That being said, those tests are very expensive. So I think it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to, you know, play safe instead of playing or being sorry in the end. And so they have several different B12 supplements here, and it's very easy to supplement to ensure that you're not deficient. The one I like the most here is this stuff right here. It's actually called the Nutrisuma B12, and it's gluten-free. And the kind of B12 that I like is the methylcobalamin style. So this has the methylcobalamin in it. And the other thing that's important to me when taking any supplement is that it has a minimal amount of other ingredients. You know, I'm after the B12 supplement for the B12. I don't want to take, you know, one like this that has things like fructose, sorbitol, cellulose, citric acid, stearic acid, natural flavors, magnesium stearate, all kinds of other stuff. So I like this one because it's just basically the vitamins plus distilled water and vegetable glycerin. So it's very clean. The other thing that's nice about this stuff is that it's on sale here for $9.90. So, you know, that's really cheap insurance, whatever your diet is, to just ensure that you got some B12, because being B12 deficient over a long period of time is definitely not a good thing. Next, we're going to talk about vitamin D. Vitamin D is a very important vitamin, or actually specifically it's a hormone that's really important. Now, you know, many people in today's age may be vitamin D deficient. And, you know, it's basically for one reason, because people are not getting enough sun. You can make your own vitamin D free and clear by just exposing your naked body to the sun to make your own vitamin D, so that supplements are actually not necessary. That being said, if you live in a northern environment and you don't get a lot of sun, you may want to take a vitamin D supplement. In that case, I'd recommend something like this, the D3 serum, or actually this guy right here. Once again, it's the Nutrisuma vitamin D3. Now these are not vegan, they're probably from sheep's wool. This is the D3, the D2 is actually a vegan, but it may not be absorbed as well. That being said, instead of getting these, just get some sun, or, you know, get a light box, and that makes the right kind of light so that your body can make its own vitamin D3 from the UV or ultraviolet light. Another important nutrient that may be deficient on a plant-based diet is this right here, vitamin K2. Now that's not the same as vitamin K. If you are actually eating a lot of leafy greens and vegetables, you're going to get enough vitamin K, but you're probably not going to get vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is generally found in animal products. Unless you're eating a certain vegetable-based product, you're not going to get the K2. So that's why I eat natto. Natto is basically fermented soybeans It's originally from Japan. I love it a lot. It has a unique flavor, but that's one of the best plant-based sources of vitamin K2. And I highly encourage you guys to eat the fresh natto because, lots of natto may be, shipped in frozen, and then when they freeze the natto, it may affect the K2 negatively. So if you're not doing it, you might want to take a vitamin K2 supplement. K2 has to do with bone formation. So if you have, bones that aren't forming properly, maybe, low bone density, it might be because you don't have enough K2. So one of my beliefs is that I just want to give my body all the different nutrients out there and let it pick what it wants to eat, and I strive to get those all in its whole food form instead of taking a supplement. But of course, supplement might be better than not getting the nutrient at all. And now we're in the section with things like vitamin C powders. Now I definitely don't recommend vitamin C powders. I think if you're on a plant-based raw diet and you're trying to take a vitamin C powder, you're an idiot because you're not eating enough fresh fruits and vegetables. For example, if I want vitamin C, I'll maybe drink some orange juice or eat some pineapples. And many of the other vegetables, including leafy greens, have high levels of vitamin C as well. So I'd much rather do that than take a supplement out of a package. And I highly encourage you guys to, once again, get your nutrition from the foods instead of out of a bottle. Now we're in the enzymes section, and enzymes are something that I take very irregularly also in my diet. It's a supplement that I do take. And I think enzymes are very important. I mean, that, after all, that's one of the reasons for the living in raw foods diet is because the enzymes are knocked out or degraded over 118 degrees. Enzyme degradation is actually a function of time and temperature, and every different food may be a little bit different. But in general, people say 118. It may be as high as 140 for some nuts and seeds. I've had friends, dehydrate nuts and seeds at 140, then they still sprout afterwards. So I think people get a little bit paranoid about that. But nonetheless, the whole point is that enzymes are very important, and that some supplemental enzymes may be beneficial for you. That being said, I have had some friends that do a lot of enzymes, and it can cause some digestive challenges with them. So also you may want to be careful. Probably my favorite supplement in here overall are the probiotics. The probiotics are the beneficial bacteria that should be living in our guts, but with the advent of antibiotics that kill all your probiotics, you may have a hard time recolonizing them or even having them in your system at all. Based on my research, the probiotics are actually part of your immune system, and they also help digest your food and probably a whole host of other things that we may not even know about yet. So I definitely take probiotics regularly. A lot of people might say, hey John, instead of taking like a capsule, can I just take like some sauerkraut? And they even sell fresh sauerkraut here. A sauerkraut has like lactobacillus, which is one kind of probiotic, but this kind actually has 8 different kinds of probiotics in there. And once again, I kind of go under the assumption that I just want to give my body all the different kinds of probiotics and let my body figure out which ones are going to hang out and which ones aren't based on my specific internal terrain, because your terrain and my terrain may be a different terrain. What we're going to look at next are these guys right here. These are basically just powdered foods in a jar. So they're basically dehydrated, or actually more importantly freeze dried, and they're put in a jar. So if you don't eat enough kale, you could get some kale powder. That being said, this stuff's like 12 bucks. A lot cheaper to just buy some kale and eat it and chew it really well, or better yet, juice it or blend it up. And they also have things like this eye food powder. So this is a supplement or a whole food powder for your eyes. It contains things like bilberry fruit, carrot, sea buckthorn fruit juice, ginkgo leaf, acai fruit, and also some calendula flowers. So instead of just buying the eye powder, why don't you just find the fresh foods that they list on here and eat them, and it's probably going to be good for your eyes. One of the powders I like a lot that they have here that is actually hard to find in many cases raw and fresh is this stuff, turmeric powder. So turmeric, in my opinion, is probably one of the most powerful roots there are. It's very high in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, all kinds of cool stuff. So eat some turmeric if you could find it fresh, or if you can't, get some turmeric powder. Well, I think a plant-based raw diet is, for the most part, a really complete diet depending on what you're eating and if you're paying attention. I mean, you could eat dates and nuts all day and you could call yourself a raw vegan, but it's not very healthy because you're missing a lot of different nutrients in a lot of different foods. So I highly encourage you guys actually to rotate your diet. Eat a diet, the majority of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables with limited amounts of nuts and seeds. I see a lot of raw food recipe books, and a lot of people into raw foods may eat way too many nuts and seeds, and that can, in my opinion, cause some challenges in the long run. That being said, one of the things that may be deficient in our raw vegan diet is this guy right here. This is actually called the DHA. And our body can make our own DHA, but the problem is when you don't have the right ratios of essential fats, namely omega-3 and omega-6, then your body is not going to create the DHA like it should. So for that reason, I like to supplement some DHA because once again, our brains are made out of fat, and DHA is one of those fats that basically are really good for our brain. One of the problems with many people into raw foods is that they eat far too many nuts and seeds, and if you're eating not the right kinds of nuts and seeds, you're really not getting the balance, the proper balance of omega-3 to 6s that you should. Even many raw food diets, like many junk food diets, may contain far too many omega-6s. Like if you're eating a lot of almonds and sunflower seeds, that's going to really jack up your 6s, and thereby you're going to have to eat a lot more 3s to balance it out. So it's very important to, balance the types of fats you're eating on a raw foods diet. Now, the interesting thing is if you eat a lot of leafy greens and minimal nuts and seeds, then your omega-3 to 6 balance is going to be fine, because guess what? Leafy greens have really high levels of omega-3s, and you're not getting the negative influences of the 6 because you're not eating a lot of other kinds of nuts and seeds. This is how things work in nature. It's only when people get involved and start eating things in abnormal quantities that wouldn't be found in nature when you could run into some problems. So for that reason, and for other reasons, because I want to keep my brain clear of fog and be healthy, I take the DHA because I feel it can be helpful. I have had some friends also raw for a long time take the DHA, and they've noticed improvements in their thought process. So that might be something you may want to try. Now, it's very important when you get a DHA, a lot of it may be from a fish source. This is actually a vegetarian algae-based source, because DHA normally comes from fish. This is actually the source of where the fish gets their DHA, from the algae, and these are actually in veggie caps as well. So this is the brand I like, the Flora brand of the DHA. Now we're in the section of the teas, and in my style raw foods diet, I don't necessarily drink any teas. I think teas are definitely better than something like coffee, but I think it's better yet to, like, for example, grow your own peppermint and pick leaves off, and then just basically put them in water and put them in the sun to warm up and get the essence of the mint in there, and then drink it. Or better yet, just juice the mint to get the flavor and the nutrition out of the mint in your own personal diet. One of the cool things they're doing here is they're selling bulk herbs and spices. So they have these packs here, like this is the organic cayenne powder, $13.30, and that's a full pound. I mean, if you just go buy a couple ounces at like a grocery store, it's like a couple bucks, so this will definitely save you money. Another cool thing they'll do here is that they can special order things for you. So if they don't have it in stock, they get ordered for you, and it'd be in very soon. And you can save a lot of money on your herbs and spices by getting them in bulk here at Pure Health. Another question I get a lot is, hey John, what do you think of like aloe vera juice? Well, this is just basically juiced aloe vera, and what I'd like to say to that is that anything in a packaged bottle or jar has to be preserved in some way, whether they're using preservatives or heat to kill the enzymes. Otherwise, the product would actually go bad. Also, heating and processing reduces and lowers the nutrition in the food. So I always encourage you guys actually to make your own juice fresh and just eat the whole foods in their natural state. So instead of getting the aloe vera juice, why don't you just buy an aloe vera plant? It'll actually even grow indoors, and you could basically cut this off and actually, I like to blend up the aloe vera in a blender with some orange juice. What I do is actually I cut off a leaf, and I take off all the green coloring and just use the center clear jelly part and put that in the blender with some orange juice, and man, that is delicious. When was the last time you had an orange juice aloe vera drink? The next section is a section that's gotten popular over the last few years. It's basically mushrooms as medicinals, and they have a lot of different mushrooms powdered up. Dr. Paul Stamets, basically his company is Host Defense, and he makes all these medicinal mushrooms in bottles. Now, I'm not a big fan of eating mushrooms as a food, but as a medicine, I would definitely take it. I think some of the mushrooms can have very beneficial effects in the body and may just give you the extra punch you need sometimes to get through certain things. So one of the new areas that I'll be looking more into in the future is actually the medicinal use of the mushrooms, because I think they can be beneficial. Another thing I want to talk about today is actually this colon cleansing kit. They sell a colon cleansing kit here, and a colon cleansing and cleansing in general on a raw foods diet can be very controversial. There's people that really agree with it and people that really don't. Where do I sit? Well, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, you know. I mean, just being on a plant-based raw diet is cleansing amongst itself. Another way to cleanse really easily is juicing or even water fasting. Now, not juice fasting, because juice fasting is really juice feasting because you're really eating, but water fasting. And if you're going to water fast, I definitely recommend that it is to be supervised. That being said, when I got into raw foods, originally I started by first juicing, and then I got into a major duty colon cleanse by Dr. Richard Anderson called Arise and Shine. This is actually very similar to it. And you know, that really helped me out to clean out all the gunk. And then I went pretty much all raw after that. And it really had a profound effect on me. And it may have a profound effect on you. That being said, you know, I always encourage you guys to do the best that you can and feel out your body and just see what feels right to you. Whether you want to cleanse out slowly by juicing and eating fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in the form of a raw foods diet, or whether you want to go on a colon cleanse, I definitely think it's all good because you're moving in the right direction, and that's what really counts. They have a small book section here at Pure Health, and probably my favorite book they have here is this guy right here. This is actually called The Cure is in the Cause by Dr. Ruza Bodanovich, ND. So I actually did hear Dr. Ruza talk before, and if you pay close attention to the title, The Cure is in the Cause. What this book talks about is that if you were healthy to begin with and you didn't do stuff to compromise your health, you wouldn't be sick. And the cure is in the cause is because, you know, most people look to a supplement shop or to doctors for the cure, for the magic pill, the magic bullet that's gonna make them better. But in my opinion, health results from healthy living and basically getting out of the way and avoiding some of the marketing that's thrown out there to eat certain foods and whatnot. We want to just get back to a simple diet of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables as a majority of our diet and take away the cause, and guess what? I think that may be the cure. Now we're in my most hated section of the whole health food store here, and we're in the protein section. And especially proteins like this, I really dislike highly. It actually says raw vegan protein, and this is raw vegan protein powder. And so, you know, when you would walk into a store like this, you'd see, oh, they got raw vegan protein powder. You would automatically think a raw vegan diet is deficient in protein because you gotta buy a supplement, right? Well, completely hogwash. That's totally, you know, not accurate if you're eating properly. So leafy green vegetables have more protein by calorie than even meat does. I mean, where does the meat or the animals get the protein in it that we end up, you know, slaughtering for their meat? Well, they eat leafy greens, grass, and other plants. Unfortunately, factory farmed animals eat, you know, corn and soy that are probably genetically modified. But nonetheless, even from corn and soy, they make the protein that's in the meat that they're later slaughtered for. I don't necessarily recommend you do that, and I don't recommend you buy a raw vegan protein powder. I just recommend you guys eat copious amounts of greens. I personally eat about 2 pounds a day, and besides greens, other fruits and vegetables also contain protein. But if you are concerned about getting enough protein, we're gonna go to the other side of this rack where they do have some whole foods that are also proteins, because these protein powders are often extracted or highly processed foods. For example, they use hemp protein powder, which is basically they take the hemp seed and they extract out the oil, and then they have the what's left, and they sell that and bag it up and sell it to you as a protein powder. So instead, it'd be far better to just buy hemp seeds and eat those instead. But on the other side, there's even something better, in my opinion, and higher in protein than hemp seeds and other nuts and seeds. Better than the protein powders that you guys just saw, which are a highly processed product, are these guys right here. These are basically algae powders, and what they are, they're just basically dried algae in a bottle. And so algae are a food. If you ever go out to a lake and you could harvest your own algae, not that I recommend that, but you could eat them. I mean, fish eat the algae. That's where, you know, they get all their nutrition from in the ocean. So algae is definitely considered another green food. And a matter of fact, algae has more protein in it than even leafy green vegetables, which are already really high in protein. So eat some algae for your protein, but besides getting just the protein, you're getting a plethora of other nutrition, phytochemicals and phytonutrients, and also the minerals that are in the algae as well. So actually, probably my favorite one is actually the chlorella, like the cracked cell chlorella. The brand that I like a lot here is actually the Health Force brand. They definitely make some good products. One of the most popular supplements on our raw food style diet are the green powders. So they got things like moringa powder, which I recommend you guys grow moringa instead of buying the moringa powder. They got things like wheatgrass and barley grass juice. You know, instead of buying wheatgrass in a bottle, why don't you just grow some wheatgrass and chew on it, or better yet, juice it. But if you are going to get some kind of green superfood in a bottle, I'd highly encourage you guys to get this. This is my favorite green superfood by far. It's a Vitamineral Green by Dr. James Sheridan. This stuff's 100% vegan, 100% raw for 20 plus years. And this is definitely a really good mixture of different green foods, basically. All different kinds of land green foods, water green foods, ocean green foods. In addition, it has enzymes and probiotics, soil-based organisms. So this is the one-stop shop for potentially filling in any missing nutrients you may have. So I like to take this as a inexpensive insurance. Also, another thing I like to do with the Vitamineral Green is take it when I travel. Maybe I'm not able to eat my organic fruits and vegetables that I'm normally eat. So, you know, I'll take some Vitamineral Green, mix it in water on the plane, and drink it down. It's so good and so nutritious. A question I got recently over one of my YouTube channels was, John, what do you think about vinegar? So, you know, they have some coconut vinegar here, whether it's a coconut vinegar or apple cider vinegar. I generally don't include those in my diet. I mean, I might use some for taste and flavor, but I don't generally consume them personally. Another thing that's really popular in the raw foods is this stuff right here, Bragg's liquid aminos, and I definitely do not recommend this stuff. It does contain naturally occurring MSG, and if I did consume this, it'd give me something like a headache. So if you want amino acids, eat foods, eat your leafy green vegetables. If you want a nice salty flavor, use something like these guys, the Dulse Flakes. This will give you a salty flavor instead of using the Bragg's liquid aminos. Next, we're going to talk about salt. They have things like the Himalayan rock salt and the real salt here. It says nature's first salt. And you know, in general, people into raw foods may use a lot of salt to make the foods taste good. Why are they doing that? Well, that's because the foods that they're, you know, eating don't taste good on their own, because the foods should contain trace minerals if that was being supplemented into the soil in which they're grown. Unfortunately, most produce and most fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds are not being grown in nutrient-dense, mineral-rich soil. In any case, people love how salt tastes. That's because we have, you know, salt receptors, sodium receptors, but also mineral receptors on our tongue, and it lights it up when we get salt. The problem with the salt is that, you know, it's actually mostly sodium. While there is some trace mineral contamination in here, you're getting mostly sodium. And if you ate, you know, this whole bottle, you probably wouldn't be alive, because it would literally dehydrate you. So definitely not a good idea. So if you want to flavor up your foods and not use salt, what do? Well, they have a great solution here at Pure Health. They have these guys on the bottom shelf. This is actually a dehydrated food, and this is basically dehydrated sea vegetables. And sea vegetables are high in the sodium, but also the other trace minerals. And they got a full selection here, actually the largest selection I've seen, at definitely good prices. This is raw and wild crafted sea lettuce flakes. They got raw and wild crafted nori flakes. They got raw and wild crafted Dulse Flakes. And they got raw and wild crafted kombu flakes. And they got raw and wild crafted wakame flakes. So you might be thinking, John, which one of these is the best? Well, I don't know. What I recommend is you guys buy all of them and taste a little bit of each and see which one jives with you. Some taste fishy, some taste not so fishy. I personally like the Dulse and actually the nori and the sea lettuce, and I don't like the wakame or the kombu too much. But nonetheless, these are excellent additions instead of using the salt in your diet, which in my opinion is definitely not a health food, whether it's Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, or whatever salt you want. Excess salt in your diet can cause a lot of challenges in my opinion. Another question I get a lot is, hey John, can I get enough sodium from the fruits and vegetables that I eat? Well, you know, you can do that, and I always recommend you get an adequate amount of salt. And I don't know what fruits and vegetables specifically you're eating. If you eat things like a lot of celery, you may be getting enough sodium, but I also have had friends that were actually sodium deficient on a fruit and vegetable diet alone. So that's definitely something to be aware of. One of the things you guys might be thinking is, John, if I can't eat salt and I'm not getting my trace minerals from salt, where am I supposed to get them? Well, in my opinion, you're supposed to get the trace minerals from the foods that you're eating, but the problem is, in this day and age, most growers and even organic growers may be only supplementing their soil with 3 minerals, N, P, and K, and that's because they've found that those minerals actually make foods grow the fastest. What about all the other 80 plus minerals on Earth, you know, that should be in the soil that's not these days because the topsoils are now eroded? Well, the best solution for getting the trace minerals, in my opinion, is growing your own food, utilizing some of the trace mineral rock powders and rock dusts, so that you could have your own nutrient-dense food, because it's not happening in organic and even conventional food from what I've seen. That being said, if you don't have that available, then the supplement is the next best thing. Remember, we always want to go to nature first and supplements, if necessary, second. And so the supplement that I would probably get for trace minerals, this guy right here, this is Liquid Light. This is a natural fulvic acid mineral complex. And this one has over 72 complex trace minerals and elements. That being said, it'd be much better to buy this stuff and pour it in your garden and let your plants absorb the minerals, and then eat the minerals the way we're supposed to get them from the plants. Besides just selling supplements here and some of the other products that I've shown you guys, they also sell items that allow you to eat more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in your diet, such as juicers. And also this guy, this is called the Spirulina, and it allows you to take a zucchini and basically make a pasta-like shape out of it, and then you could eat fresh zucchini instead of eating a cooked pasta. And actually they have very good prices on these guys here, probably the lowest in Las Vegas. Another thing they're offering, or these guys are offering, instructional DVDs from Ronnie and Min. This is actually a really excellent video to purchase, and this is just called Going Raw with Ronnie and Min. Min makes some amazing food, and they show how you can easily make some healthy raw food treats on a DVD. So especially if you're new into it or haven't done it before, you can definitely get this DVD and the Spirulina slicer and create some amazing recipes in your own kitchen. Now, if you don't live locally and you can't get down to buy the DVD here, you can visit ubraw.com, where you can order these DVDs online. Hopefully you're on an organic raw foods diet to minimize the amount of toxins going in your body, but many people into raw foods may not realize, besides what you're putting in your body through your mouth, we're also breathing in toxins, and in many cases, sometimes people are slathering toxins all over their body by just standard lotions and shampoos and even soaps and toothpaste and deodorant. All kinds of stuff they're putting on their body, and your body is absorbing these things. So for this reason, I'm glad they have a natural body care section with natural products that you can use to minimize the amount of toxins going in and on and being absorbed by your body. What I'm going to cover next, because I'm not a girl and I can't really cover shampoos and conditioners because I just don't really use them myself, but what I will cover is a really great alternative to lotion and also deodorant. Instead of using any lotion, I like to use an oil. And my favorite oil, they have a whole bunch of different ones here: almond oil, apricot oil, avocado oil, jojoba oil, primrose oil, shea butter, even like coconut oil on your skin. But my favorite over all these guys, and this is for on body care, not in your body, I like jojoba oil. Jojoba oil most naturally is similar to our natural oils that we should have naturally in our skin. So I've been using jojoba oil a lot, and I really think it makes a difference. So instead of using any lotions, just get some jojoba oil. One of the things I also do is I make my own cream. So I actually combine the jojoba oil 1-to-1 with some beeswax like they're selling here, and melt that up, and that makes a nice skin balm that I'll use. Sometimes I'll also add other herbs in it. So that's pretty much my regimen for skincare. Use the oil and then my cream, and pretty much I'm all set. Conventional deodorants are probably one of the most toxic things that you put on sensitive areas of your body all the time, like underneath your arms where your lymph nodes are. So it's very important to use a natural one if you're going to use one. That being said, after being on a raw, clean diet for 17 years, I could say that I rarely have any body odor. I mean, maybe if I eat garlic the night before, I'll smell the garlic coming out of my pores, but otherwise, I don't think I stink too much, and neither does my poop. But in any case, in case you do have body odor, and once again, I believe body odors is caused by the bacteria and the toxins inside you that have to come out through your sweat glands. And if you do need to deal with that, a really excellent way to do that would be one of these things. It's basically a crystal, and this is basically just a mineral that you'll put on to basically negate the effects of the odor here. So I definitely would recommend this, although the goal should be to just get off all these products and live a simple life without having to buy extra stuff. Besides the body care that you guys just saw, what's really important also is that you don't put toxins in your mouth. We know to put organic foods in our mouth, but what about the toothpaste you're using? Are you on a raw foods diet and still using Colgate or Crest or Aquafresh? I have visited some people's raw homes, and I'm surprised to find that they eat raw, but they're still using toxic, deodorant and toxic mouthwash and toxic toothpastes. So it's very important to, come to a place like this to get some natural toothpaste. Some of the ones that I have used in the past, I've actually used this Vitamir. I've also used the Perio Bright. I do like the Perio Wash a lot, actually, as a mouthwash, a natural mouthwash. And another toothpaste that I was looking at here is this Earth Paste. It's actually quite natural. For many people into raw foods, having cavities and other things is actually a big problem. And, for me, what that relates to is actually having a proper oral hygiene. It's very important, whether you're raw or not, to take care of your teeth, see a dentist regularly, brush and floss regularly, because it's the bacteria in our mouths that's causing the cavities, not the fruit sugars. But the bacteria feed on the fruit sugars, much like we feed on the fruit sugars and the other foods that we eat. And on a standard diet, a standard American diet, people may not get as many cavities because they're eating highly processed junk that actually the bacteria doesn't even want to eat. I mean, you've seen the pictures of the McDonald's hamburger that lasts like 2 years and doesn't even decay. I mean, bacteria doesn't want that stuff, so they're not eating it. But when you're eating the foods that nature provides for us, bacteria loves that stuff, and so do we. So make sure you brush and floss after every meal is my suggestion. Another really cool product that I like that they're offering here are these guys, soy wax and beeswax ear candles for only $2. So I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but what you do with these is actually just line your side, put it in your ear, you have a plate there, and then you light this on fire. So your ear's on fire. Well, no, not really. So what this does is actually creates a vacuum to help suck out some of the earwax, because we know we're not supposed to stick Q-tips in our ears to clean our ears out, because that can puncture your eardrum, but yet people use Q-tips to clean their ears out. This is a natural way to do it, and you should definitely be supervised if you're doing this. I've done this many times, and actually have my brother has used these also, and every time it takes out a lot of wax and possibly other toxins as well. But also I could always, hear better without all that extra wax buildup inside my ears. So if you're hard of hearing, try an ear candle first would be my opinion. The last thing I want to cover today is actually what they got in the back room here, and besides actually presentations, and I've actually talked here several times, and we'll be probably talking here in the future. They have actually what's called a turbosonic machine, and how this was invented was because the astronauts that went up on the, the space shuttle, they would lose bone density because they weren't getting any gravity effects on them. So this was invented for them, but it also is like a vibration therapy and moves your lymph, and it can actually move your different organs. So I like this a lot. I was actually just on it a little while ago, and I think this can be very helpful for healing and for health. And as a OK Raw viewer, you guys are going to have 2 specials from Pure Health here. Number 1, you're going to be entitled to a first-time session on the Turbosonic for free, and also you're going to get 10% off anything in the store. So just tell them John Kohler and OK Raw sent you saw the video, and they'll hook you right up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, learning more about Pure Health Foods here in Las Vegas. If you're visiting Las Vegas or live here, you definitely want to come out and check it out. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRod.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.